From classrooms to Kalashnikovs, a radicalization war on Balochistan's youth. The tragic transformation of Sufyan Baloch from a university student to a slain BLA terrorist exposes a deeply unsettling reality. The systematic hijacking of Balochistan's youth by foreign-backed separatist networks, its case is not an isolated one, but a part of a larger, well-orchestrated campaign that weaponizes education and exploits identity politics to turn classrooms into breeding grounds for militancy. Sufyan once held a respected position as chairman of the Baloch Student Council at UMT Lahore. But behind the facade of student leadership and cultural activism, he was being carefully groomed. On July 19, 2025, he was killed in Noshki as an active combatant of the BLA, a group designated as a terrorist organization and long exposed for its link to India's covert operations in the region, widely dubbed as Fitna Hindustan. His journey from university speeches to armed insurgency highlights a dangerous pipeline of radicalization that starts not in mountains or caves but in lecture halls, dormitories, and protest camps. The so-called Baloch student councils, particularly in Punjab and Islamabad, function less like cultural forums and more like ideological incubators. Disguised as civil rights platforms, they systematically instill narratives of victimhood, alienation, and resentment. Organizations like the BYC have mastered the art of duality, preaching non-violence publicly while silently nurturing those who will eventually take up arms. Sufyan was not expelled from UMT without a reason. His involvement in suspicious activities was a red flag, ignored by some, exploited by others. His case should have sparked serious institutional introspection. Instead, it became a textbook case of how radicals use the appearance of civil disclosure to mask extremist recruitment. This is not merely an educational concern, it is a national security crisis. Universities have become battlegrounds where the minds of Baloch students are being radicalized under the pretense of political activism. India's proxy war through groups like the BLA and BLF does not operate with guns. It operates with ideology, poisoning young minds through structured propaganda cells masked as student unions. The state must now act beyond reactive measures. It must dismantle these ideological breeding grounds, expose the links between so-called student activism and insurgency, and ensure that no more Sufyans are manufactured under the banner of cultural representation. Surveillance alone is not enough. Educational institutions must be reformed, monitored, and safeguarded against the ideological infiltration of Fitna Hindustan and its proxies. The war for Balochistan's future is as much about ideas as it is about territory. It is about reclaiming educational spaces and restoring them as hubs of hope and progress, not launchpads for rebellions. Sufyan's story should not be repeated. If we fail to protect our students from this ideological war, we risk losing an entire generation not to ignorance but to indoctrination.